So many of you who have followed the story of Maccabi descending on Amsterdam about a year ago, almost a year ago, we're coming into November of 2025, might have heard about Annette, which back then was going by the name Annette. And Annette and 14-year-old Binda, who was doing YouTube videos about YouTube, became two of my journalistic heroes during that process. I will first let you, Annette. I think I lost you completely there. Okay, there you are. I will cut that out. All good. So, Annette, let me ask you to introduce yourself.
Yes, well, I'm Annette. I am a Dutch citizen. And I started my own media platform after my whole Maccabi adventure in Amsterdam. And my new platform is called Whispering Media. It's an independent platform. I think it's needed in the Netherlands. We have more independent platforms, but because I expanded my network so rapidly after the Maccabi adventure. I say adventure because for me it was a whole adventure. Of course, for the citizens it was a disaster. And then, I started it 4 months ago, and that's going quite well. Yes, we're.
So can you talk a bit about your background? You were a photographer.
Yes.
You were still a photographer, but you were a digital photographer taking pictures of lovely Amsterdam.
Well, I did more than that. I'm specifically an iPhone photographer, and that's also the medium I still use for all my work. But I was an iPhone photographer. I did a lot of workshops. I gave a lot of master classes worldwide. And I started during COVID, I started my book, my second iPhone only book. And that was about Amsterdam as a paradise, completely empty Amsterdam. And that was a lot of fun. But during COVID, there were COVID protests. So that's why I started also the reporting on events in my city. Just so not only the amazingly Amsterdam captures, but also the reports, like the real action, what is going on. And that was for me the inspiration to go further with the reporting. And I did a lot of events here in Amsterdam.
So November 2024, Maccabi plays against Ajax in the Ajax Stadium in Amsterdam. So can you tell us what happened?
Yes, I have to say I wasn't really aware of the whole fuss around the Maccabi supporters being in our city. But on November 7th, I read about it in the newspaper. And then I was thinking like, okay, let's go to the scene. And that was before the match. So that was around 6 I arrived. Then there were already a lot of incidents on Dam Square happening.
You arrived at Dam Square.
Yes, at Dam Square. And
which, for people who don't know, I mean, it's basically the city hall center, one of the central spots of Amsterdam.
It's also the origin of Amsterdam. So it's literally the place where a dam was built in the Amstel River. Mm-hmm. And now it's
therefore
still
Amsterdam. Right?
Yes, and it still is the center point where a lot of things happening and still are happening. So yes, that was the gathering of the Maccabi supporters over there before they went to the match.
What did you see?
I saw a huge crowd. There were a lot of supporters and a lot of fire flares. So it was colored. And it was also exactly at the point that they were guided to Amsterdam subways. But I decided to go along with them. So I made a few photos, and the crowd was very excited. Some people were drunk, of course. That's all part of the hooligan scene. And but I also noticed a tension. There was some sort of tension. And so the guiding to the subways went very slow because the crowd was very tight. It was very dense. And so a lot of police was on the location. And so we went slowly to the subways. There, the press has to be separated. There was a press at the spot, and we couldn't be at the elevator downstairs to the subways. So you saw a lot of supporters and a lot of police around it, and they went downstairs. And they were so excited, and a lot of those flares again, and a lot of yellow and blue. And yeah, that was it. And I was thinking, let's go after the match. I didn't want to go to the arena, to the Johan Cruyff Stadium myself. So I thought, let's go after the match, because yes, they have to return, and let's see what happens. So I did. I was there 10:30.
Sorry for interrupting, but I mean, in the aftermath of
Yes.
the attacks, there were quite a few videos that show the fans moving into the subway, going towards the stadium, chanting racist and really just murderous statements. I mean, including, "fuck the Arabs" is one of the ones that keeps repeating itself. Did you catch any of that?
No.
No.
I noticed that there was some sort of, let's say, passion, aggressiveness. Yeah. But I couldn't, I don't speak Hebrew, so I didn't notice that only the morning after, when I saw all the footage around it. But
only then you understood what you were hearing the day before.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, that was a totally different perspective. Yeah, it was before the match and after the match. For me, that was a total difference. So yes, I took some photos because it was a wonderful night, and I had to wait. So then around 11, I waited in front of the central station on a bridge. So you have a very clear view, bright view, wide view of people who are coming in. And so I was waiting for, let's say, 30 minutes. Then some supporters arrived. Yes, and they not came from the central station, but they came from the side of the central station. So there are several entrances there, and I think they took the very right entrance. So they came just of the direction of the red light district. Yes. And I was on the...
They were coming from the side of the city. They were not coming... Were they coming not from inside the station, but from the city? Or
no, along the red light district. That's almost at the border
of the station, on the other side of the water.
Station, yes. But that direction, so on the right. They came and they passed me, because I was standing in the middle of the bridge. So they passed me on both sides, and I could feel the anger. Yes. So it was already aggressiveness. I also saw that some supporters wanted to go inside of the red light district, some of the Maccabi supporters group, but they didn't. And that group consisted out of, I think, like 20 people. Yeah. And then because I felt the tension, I was thinking, well, let's follow them with my eyes. And then they immediately went to Domrock, which is in between the central station and Dam Square. Yes. And then maybe after 10 minutes being at Domrock, they lit heavily fireworks. That was almost like a cobra. Yeah. So very heavily, and all smoke,
Were they...
So,
it was smoke, or was it things that were being thrown in directions?
No, it was only one piece of firework, but a very heavily one.
Oh, one piece of fire.
Yeah, almost like a bomb, you know. It was very heavily sound. Everyone was also, there were some tourists. They were in shock. And it was all a sort of silence before something would happen, you know.
Mm.
And then I immediately grabbed, of course, my phone is always in my hands. So
Sorry, I'm just curious. I mean, this happened in Damrock, and was there any follow-up to that? I mean, were there any reports of what that was, or how many people were involved in this?
I think like 5 or 6.
Mm.
Yeah. And then they lit the fireworks. Then I took my camera because that's always in my hand. And I captured the first footage. And that was only with the smoke. And you saw some people walking away from that fireworks. And then I was thinking, let's go and what will happen next? Yes. They gathered and they gathered in front of the Victoria Hotel. And then they were like maybe with 30 or 40 people. Yeah, it was a bigger group of Maccabi hooligans.
Where
And
have
then,
the other ones come from? I mean, they were just continue to
yes, I think
gather.
from different sides, yes. But all of a sudden, there were 30 or 40 people in front of the Victoria Hotel. So I was thinking, let's move from the bridge to the opposite, and that's in front of Central Station. I moved there, and I saw a guy. I already noticed that guy. It was a young guy, but I couldn't place him. Afterwards, that was Ben Derbij. So he was next to me. Yeah. But I was still focused. I
Very,
saw him
very,
like
very young, but I mean,
very young, yes.
13, 14 years old, right?
He was 15 years old, I guess. Yeah, he was 15 years old at that time. I don't know. I think he's now 16, but very young.
He had
And
been following them around, actually. He was at the stadium, and I think that he followed into the city. So
exactly. He did the whole bunch. Yes. What I didn't, he did. Yes. And so, yeah, then I was still focusing on that group, of course, because, yeah, it was like hectic, you know. They were restless. So in the corner of that Maccabi supporters group, a guy was attacked. And then I immediately grabbed my phone, and that was the 51 seconds. I call my video the 51 seconds of Maccabi. So, yeah, I recorded that, and they attacked 2 or 3 people. Yeah. And so my camera followed it. And while I am recording, I can't really see what is happening. I always see that afterwards. I only film it. Yeah. And then for me, as a photographer, but also as a reporter, which was not at that moment an official reporter, by the way, I have some sort of, always a sort of competition with myself. I want to be the first. And that's the advantage of being an iPhone creator, video maker, reporter, whatever. You're always the first. Yeah. Because I didn't even edit it. I uploaded it immediately. So it was uploaded because we're talking about the fight was, and that is very important, that was 10 minutes before 12. And I uploaded it maybe 5 minutes after 12. Yeah. So there was a few minutes in between.
So how many people were attacked at that point that you could actually count mentally? I mean,
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yes.
And this was
Yes.
around the Victoria.
Yes. And they crossed the road because they wanted to escape because the group was so big.
And the group actually followed them. That's one of the most famous pictures of Amsterdam which incidentally, I mean, we will get to this, but that was the one that was posted by a lot of media as Arab citizens hunting down Jews, whereas in fact it was Maccabi hunting down Amsterdam citizens, not particularly Arabic or Muslim either, right? It was just citizens of Amsterdam.
Yes. Yeah, for me, that's not a difference, you know. Citizens are citizens. If they are from Palestine, if they are from Rotterdam, for me.
No, I can agree. I mean, the point that I'm trying to make is that this was not a case of racial profiling. They were actually just hitting anybody they could hit.
Yes. I think so, yeah. But you can never know what their intention really was at that moment. Huh? Let's be fair, because I want to stick to the reality and what I have observed. So yeah, then the group went. I saw them going towards the Kloveniersburg Wall, which is a place which goes on the other side, not Damarak, but on the other side to the city center. So to in the direction of Dom Square or further. So they took that road, yes, with that big group. And then it's still, I of course, meanwhile, I was uploading my video. And then that is later, it seemed that Benderbij was following them to that direction. But I heard also a lot of, let's say 10 minutes later, a lot of fireworks. I'm afraid of fireworks. So I chose to wait. Yeah. Because it was maybe too aggressive for me. It was just a feeling, an intuition. And I always follow my intuition. And I thought, let's go and wait a bit. And then I will follow. Meanwhile, I talked to people who were also watching it. Everyone was a bit in shock, who were bystanders. So
What were people saying?
Yeah, I asked a group of guys. I said, "What is happening? What is this?" And they said to me, "Yes, of course. These are the Maccabi hooligans, and they want to have a fight." And but they said, "Yeah, there are also Ajax supporters in between." And I said, "How do you know?" Because yeah, we follow the news, and we simply know because we are Ajax supporters ourselves.
So the Ajax supporters were going along with the Maccabi fans? I mean,
They
were
said
they...
that there were a few Ajax supporters amongst that group.
Let me ask you, was there police? Did you see police at any point?
At that moment, and that was also what I realized while I was standing there, also before they came from the central station, I was thinking all the time, where is the press? Where's the police? Because I had the feeling I was on my own. I was the only one. And also the police, I saw one police car and one police bus. That was it.
There is a moment in which Benda takes a shot, I mean, filming of the Maccabi hooligans ripping pipes. That is very near the station, actually. I think it was a building across the street or next to the station. And apparently beating somebody that he identifies as police. And so it is kind of remarkable that there was not a much quicker police response.
Yeah, I don't think he saw that as attacking a police, but a bus.
A bus.
Yeah. Or a car. There was one bus and a car. And you can hear him say in his video, they are also attacking the police. But I think that was either the bus or the car. But they were very near to each other, the car and the bus. And I also thought, where is the police? Where is the police? Better be quick, because this is getting out of hand.
So you follow them for how much longer? I mean, how did this thing dissipated?
Yeah, so I still wanted to go in the center, and I did. So I followed the same path as the hooligans, as Bender, through Kloveniersburg Wall. But they were ahead of me, like 200, 300 meters. I didn't know, but I could hear them in the distance. And I saw some Maccabi supporters walking, like 2 or 3 in front of me. I even have them on my video. So they were crossing at a certain moment that was in the direction of, where it was behind the Royal Palace. The Royal Palace is at Dam Square. So behind that is in the end of the Kloveniersburgwal, or the midst of the Kloveniersburgwal. There I saw some police all of a sudden. Yeah, so I was thinking, maybe they arrived now at the right spot, but I still didn't really knew where the supporters were, where our citizens were. It was very hectic at that moment. I saw some in the distance. I saw some on Dam Square. I captured some videos where you can see the police arrived at Dam Square. And I saw a group in the distance, and I also have them on video walking along. Yeah. And they went to the Spui Square. Yeah, that's the end of the Kloveniersburgwal. The Spui Square. There I arrived and I saw a big group, and the police was around it. So they encircled the group. And I later was reading in the reports that they were protecting that group. But that was not really the case, because when you protect a group, you would turn towards the group. Yeah. Or no, let's say you would face the group. You would face the surroundings of the group.
Yeah,
and
you
not
would
the
face
other.
outwards, so to
Yes,
keep the group to your
outwards.
back.
Yes, and not the other way around. So I had the feeling at the Spuistraat that they were trying to control the group.
Mm-hmm.
That it
I mean,
didn't
this is
went
where
out of hand.
eventually the police bands came in and started taking people.
Yes, I didn't see any citizens around it. Yeah, only I heard some screams in the back. I don't know what they screamed, but they were probably. I thought that were not the Maccabis, that were our citizens. They screamed. So a little bit of provocative,
Provocation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I find very strange is that, even a week and a half before, the reports from Haaretz and different Israeli media was that the Mossad was actually traveling with the Maccabi fans, which goes to say that there was an expectation that there could be trouble. The lack of police in the streets of Amsterdam under those circumstances, after the match, is very, very difficult to understand, given the fact that, even the Mossad was actually deployed.
Yeah.
But there you have it.
One of my friends, his son works at the security of the Johan Cruyff Stadium, and he said there were Maccabi present there.
Maccabi security.
Mossad.
Mossad present there.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you precisely about sort of the response of Amsterdam citizens. I mean, this is one of the first set of images that started circulating, which was Maccabi fans or Maccabi, basically people going to Maccabi, or Israelis being beaten up in the streets of Amsterdam. So what is the sequence? How did this come about?
How do you mean? How?
I mean, this happened after the attacks took place. This happened as the attacks were taking place.
Yeah, they were telling about the hit and runs. Even our mayor was telling about the hit and run actions.
Right.
Yes. And what I can say, and what I know is that a few of our citizens, let's say that, were prosecuted. So there was violence. So I never denied that. That is simply the case. That these are the facts. I was at one court hearing, and I saw the actual footage of what happened on Damrak and Dam Square. That was after the match. So after the fight I recorded, there were some incidents there. So I saw the footage, and that's true. But I also saw Maccabi supporters present there. So I think, why are you going to a place while you profile yourself as afraid. Yeah, because you can read in the media everyone was afraid. Why are you there then? At on the spot.
The Maccabi fans were afraid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where the aggression happens. Why are you there? Why are you not in your hotel? Or yeah? So
if there was such fear of an incident, and if there were actually potential victims, well, why were they out in the streets?
Exactly.
Parading, especially with fireworks and basically provoking confrontations.
And not even on not even that night, but of course 2 days before. On the 6th and on the 7th.
With people, I mean, like the images of the 6th and the 7th were pretty remarkable. In some cases, people climbing onto buildings to pull down Palestinian flags, and there were some reports of people being attempts at getting into people's homes by Maccabi fans.
Exactly. And also after the group on Spui Square was controlled by the police, they went into a van, into a bus. Yeah? And that was a sort of arrest bus. But it was not that they were arrested. They said in the reports that they were taken to another place because of their safety. But I have seen footage, and that was also spread, but also another video, which is not published yet, that the Maccabi supporters even throw stones to the police while they were taken into the bus. So they were not at all, and a few of them escaped from that moment they were taken into the bus. So why would you do that if you're so afraid, you know?
I talked to the office of the prosecutor, the Amsterdam prosecutor, 2 or 3 days later, to ask if there had been any Israeli arrests, and they reported that yes, that they had arrested 10 people, but they were all released. Every single one of them was released, and this is kind of the follow-up of the story, right? Which became a bit of a scandal, for the city authorities. Can you tell me a bit about that part of the story?
Yes, well, let me tell you a little bit about the rest of that night. I was there till 2:00. So I was there all the time at the Rokin, because there was the bus where they took the Maccabi supporters away. And also on Dam Square, there was a little group of Maccabi supporters. And I had the feeling that the police was protecting them there. Yeah. So that was not like we have to control you. No, that was really a protection of them. And now when I saw the videos in the courtroom, I can imagine that a few Maccabi hooligans needed that protection. Yes. So, but yeah, it took a long time till that bus was gone. And then I was decided, let's go home. That was, let's say, 1:45, and I got home. And then when I opened my socials, then I all of a sudden really realized what happened. Yeah. So
why? What did you find? That
it was a parallel universe. You know, I was in a totally Netflix script. Yeah, because my footage, that one video of 51 seconds, they cut it already to maybe 10 seconds. And they framed it in a totally different narrative than what happened.
So
and it was all over the place.
So what was the, I mean, the cut is very famous. The cut is of people, sort of herd of people jumping through the street into traffic almost, not very high speed traffic, but traffic, and crossing over and then beating people, or there are at least gestures of violence. So so these are Maccabi fans crossing the street, attacking people, and then what is that you find?
Well, for instance, the first one, it's an Israeli influencer who lives in the States. Everyone knows him. It's Eyal Jacobi. And he is master of framing. Yeah, he did it all through the genocidal violence in Gaza, and spread lie after lie.
What was the framing?
My video. he picked my video, and that was maybe 13 seconds of it. He already cut it. I think maybe he did it himself, and said that this was a pogrom
of citizens of Amsterdam attacking Maccabi. So quite literally the reverse of what was being shown.
Exactly. So I took him to account, and I said, remove the video. This is not what happened. It's the opposite. And he refused. And I think that moment went viral, that I was taking him to account and he didn't listen. And that went viral. So all of a sudden, everyone who watched the video was also involved in the story. Because on the one hand, people said, no, listen to her. This is the narrative. And the other side said, no, she's lying. Yeah. So it took me 3 months, because I already thought, let's protect this video. Let's protect the truth. Yes, it's my truth. It's what I have observed. I have to protect this. And only this video. And that's something, I think I have to tell this because I think that's important. The justification of reality, of what is happening. I have that from my mother. Yeah, that's my mother's DNA. Always go for the truth. Yes, and fight for it. So that's why people are asking me. It's such a long way you have gone, and it's so important, and we respect you for that. But that's in my DNA. Don't mess with what I have observed and what is the truth. Yeah, so. That's why it cost me 3 months to that moment of that A.L. Jacobi and all the others. He was not the only one, to put that in the right perspective.
So what happened after 3 months? Did he take it down? Did he?
It's still on.
Still on. And although it's your content and it has been basically modified and exactly. There are no recourses you have.
No, he have responded on me. I don't know exactly what he did, but he responds a few times on me. So I'm in his how do you say, in his reality. Yeah,
I think
so
it's
he's
really
watching me all the time, and then sometimes he says like, "There's the liar again," and but
it's
sometimes
remarkable.
He's also in my focus because I'm very much aware of how many lies he's spreading, and sometimes I still retweet him and correct that. But no, for me, he was not so important at that moment because all media outlets used it and misused it. So,
but I think that's precisely the point, which is that he was and probably remains a fairly minor figure. Is one more of the many Zionist propagandists. But the interesting thing is that framing really caught fire and went everywhere. So you would turn on CNN, you would turn on BBC. Sky News famously had to erase. They actually reported correctly, then they erased it, and then they published basically the lie. They published the fabrication, and it just kept going, right?
Yeah, now they have erased it, Sky News, because of my lawyer sent them a letter. My lawyer said Reuters a letter. We had preparation of 3 months for that specific letter. And Reuters didn't correct, but Sky News did, in a way, admitted the guilt by removing my video.
It's just breathtaking. I mean, it's just impossible. Honestly, I mean, we're talking about something that defies belief to the extent that should really be the end of people's careers, right? I mean, there should be people that never get hired again, that are fired. There should be essentially organizations that are bankrupted by this kind of story, which is basically not only flipping the account, but essentially protecting the perpetrator. You have like a group that descended on a city, attacks citizens, and then you have massive media, including, of course, all the propagandists of the State of Israel, but saying basically that these are the victims.
Yes. And the strange thing is, for instance, Elnet provided 3 major interviews by respected, well, let's say respected huge media outlets the day after, and all separately, high executives of Elnet all separately talked about the pogrom. So they fed the narrative. Um, and that same Elnet removed, after one mail, a few months later, they removed all their reports because my footage was in. They
Right.
they It took for them maybe 4 hours. That was Emmanuel Navon. That was the former director of Elnet,
So
and
we
he
should
said, "Oh,
explain that
I
Elnet.
will. Yes, I will remove it. I will remove it." He was so fast in removing my video.
We should
Uh,
explain that Elnet we're referring to the organization that promotes relations with Israel.
yes,
So it's basically a sort of lobbying group at a European level. It's called the European Leadership Network.
yeah,
But it's essentially like an IPAC. It's essentially an Israeli lobbying operation
yeah.
using basically images of Maccabi. It really defies belief.
They're very good scripters. They're very good. It's all in a script.
It's all in the script, but I mean, being myself somebody who is in media and who spent a lot of time in large scale media, it is also complicity, right? I mean, it's not. There has to be a will. It's not really just. There
No,
has to be a will, or there has to be a sloppiness. I mean, you get
true.
this stuff. You never talk to the source. You know. This is, I think, that one of the basic questions is, if you don't talk to the source and you basically just publish under false pretense, essentially that is a violation of public trust, right?
Exactly. Yes, and so the reason why I sold my footage the same night, that was after I returned, and Reuters was already at my doorstep, and they wanted the footage. Yes, of course, because they knew we are going to earn a lot of money with this one, and they sold it. I sold it to them. Why? People asked me, why did you do that? Yeah, because I was thinking Reuters is a well-respected um, image bank, world's biggest, and if I sell it to Reuters and I can tell them what happened, then the frame will be reversed. And but that wasn't the case. And yeah, that's for me maybe the biggest disappointment. Reuters and Sky News, because Sky News, the other side, the other story, not many people know, but they tricked me into a live broadcast. And really, I had the woman on the phone, and they pulled me into the broadcast. And I after the and I explained maybe in 5 minutes. It was only 5 minutes. And I thought, oh, that went well. That was the day after. And so I searched for it maybe a day later. I searched for any broadcast. And also, it was Suzanne, I don't know her last name, but that was the host, not my mentioning in any broadcast. So
They
I
just buried it, basically.
I mailed them and I said, can you send me the link to the broadcast? Oh yeah, it's hard to find and it's weekend and so and then finally they said we can't find it.
We
And
can
I
find it.
and I was thinking that
produce a segment of television and we cannot find it. It's really
what's happening?
yeah.
And then and for me it's all new,
Well,
because
for me it's not new, but I mean
yeah,
I still find it breathtaking, the willingness that networks have to actually hide evidence, because this is really the hiding of evidence from the public. Right? You
yes,
have, once
yes,
again, let me repeat, I mean, this is going to be mainly seen in Latin America.
yeah,
I mean, it's, you have evidence of Maccabi running a pogrom on the city of Amsterdam. You have the evidence turned to the media grabs the evidence and the report, the
yeah,
eyewitness report, and buries it. Quite
yes.
literally makes it disappear.
And simultaneously, because I gave them the footage, because I was thinking, it's okay. Now I have talked. Now I can give the footage. And but then it was appearing in that Alice Porter report. And that was changed, I think, in 12 hours or so. Yeah? So there were 2 copies of the Alice Porter report. Now everyone knows now that they changed the narrative again in that one.
We have a few minutes left. I wanted to talk about Birmingham and Aston Villa Maccabi misencounter. So I think that.
Can I interrupt you? There are so many details to this case. We can fill up 12 hours of talking.
Right.
You know?
I know.
It's so much inconsistencies in this whole 3 nights.
Let me ask you, I mean, besides what actually happened, which I think that one begins to really build a mini image, after a year, what is to you the most remarkable thing, or what is the sticking point? What is that most jumps at you a year later?
Well, of course, there are negative. There's a very negative feeling inside of me towards the media. Yeah. So I think I have a pretty good insights now how the media works, because I have talked to journalists on the phone who couldn't sell the story to their editors in chief. Yeah. And that's so painful. For instance, the New York Times. Yeah. And the guy, he's a Dutchman. I will not say his name, but he was so willing towards me. Also because it's his own city where he lived, you know. But he couldn't sell the story. And I think that's so painful that the journalists are tied to what above is happening, you know, the real power. And that struck me a lot, that incident. And but also what I noticed, and that's the positive outcome, is how many independent platforms there are and how many citizen journalism there is. And there is everywhere a camera. And that's also what has happened, of course, in Gaza, that there were so many cameras, they needed to be demolished, yeah, by killing the journalists. And that's awful.
There is really, to me, I mean, I say this quite often, I have hated the title journalist because I really never thought very positively about journalism. And then Gaza happened, and people like Anas al-Sharif and gave their lives for it. And now I feel that the title is too big for me. I don't really think I deserve to be called what these people were. I mean, I honestly think they're heroes for the truth, martyrs for the truth in some sense. I want to ask you about so there were a couple of episodes since Amsterdam, including Bucharest, and before actually Amsterdam, there was the Athens story. And when the Birmingham authorities, I mean the Birmingham police, basically said that they would not allow fans into the Aston Villa Maccabi game, they referred to the ban that was nonetheless established after the fact by the Amsterdam police. What was your reaction? I mean, how did you see the Amsterdam thing, especially given the fact that the government tried to intercede? Generally, I try not to cough during questions, but sorry.
Yeah.
All good. So, especially given that the government tried to intercede on behalf of the Maccabi fans, who present, I mean, according to the British police, they present the same kind of threats that they have actually acted out in Amsterdam against the citizens of Amsterdam.
Well, what I noticed, the anger of some people in my network, like Owen Jones, for instance, he immediately approached me. He wanted to have some updates on the Dutch situation, especially when it was concerning how many Israeli were prosecuted zero. So,
Sure.
and also the anger of Peter Oborn and Mehdi Hassan, and everyone was diving on this case, that I had the feeling like, oh, it's all over again. It's all over the place. Yes, let's find some lessons in this one, and let's hold on now. I got immediately that fighter's mentality back. So wherever I can help, I will help. And I think it's very important that the band stays there where it is. I'm not so sure, because you never know what will happen and what will be agreed on the people who have the power. Because that's also a case here in Amsterdam. What I saw, our mayor, for instance, Halsema, how she was totally under influence of somewhere above, and we can't really point it out. How does that work? Of course, the Dutch politics was involved. Israel was itself involved in this, and many powerful institutes around it. So I can imagine how she has felt, and she did it wrong. I have to admit, she did wrong.
It had been said that, and they admitted it more or less, that the narrative of the pogrom against Jews, against Maccabi, emanated from Israel at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So there had been no investigations, there had been no reports. Most of City Hall was asleep. And they woke up to basically find that the Israelis had already established the narrative, even before any investigation. So I think that very much talks to your point. I wonder if you, actually, let me not force the point. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Can I add something to it? Yesterday I was at the city council because there was a hearing about the Maccabi documents. Well, there are still some documents vanished, and a lot of documents are manipulated by simply removing whole passages inside. So there is 14 demands on to open those files. Yes, so I was present there. And then one of the employees there, they said, "Oh, can you tell me what was the actual feeling of our Amsterdam citizens?" And then I was thinking, like, how can you ask such a question? Because you don't really realize enough what this have done to our citizens, to the Jewish people, to the Muslims, to everyone. There were a bunch of people who hijacked our city, and I found that very a good illustration of that the naiviteit. Yeah, how do you say the naivety?
Yeah, the naivety
of people who are decision makers,
or complicity, either or
also, yes. And I talk to citizens, and I know what happens. Yeah, because I hold so much onto my 51-second video. People approached me and they said, "I was witness. Yes, I was witness, but I don't dare to speak in front of the camera. But I have to tell you, I thank you for what you have done, because I felt so miserable during that days, because they were not even attacking like Palestinian protesters or Dutch hooligans, but they also were protecting normal citizens.
The reports in the aftermath of random people, especially people around the Dam Square, who were actually insulted, spat on. A couple of cases on which keffiyehs that people were wearing in the middle of the street were pulled off. It's almost impossible to believe that they would be allowed to proceed like this in a foreign city, in a European city, with absolutely no control or policing. It's something that it's really defies belief. I wonder if I see it. I see a pattern here, which is not just Maccabi in Amsterdam and Maccabi in Birmingham and then Betar in Bucharest. But it's also the Just Klein story in oh God, this is the what is the name of the contest?
Eurovision.
Eurovision. I remember Just Klein, but I don't remember Eurovision. See, that's the stage.
Eurovision Song Festival.
Right. So the Eurovision Song, it's a bit of the same story as with the Eurovision Song Festival, with the Just Klein, false accusations against Just Klein. The guy gets dismissed being at the top of the... I'm not somebody who likes Eurovision at all.
No.
But it is clearly a very important cultural episode in European life. So it has a massive amount of reach.
Yes. Yeah, but it's also not only the soccer. Eh? It's a lot of sports are also representing Israel. So we had also contests here, like the baseball. They were present. There was Australian football. They were present. You know, so it's not only through music or just soccer. No, they're everywhere. It's everywhere presented, and that's part of a strategy. Yes.
Annette de Graaf, thank you very, 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 very much. You really did absolutely tremendous work on that November night. I mean, I will add my words to the ones you heard from citizens of Amsterdam. It really was a sense of despondence. I mean, because it was visible that it was Maccabi to a large degree, besides the pictures of, as you pointed out, violence against Israeli fans. There was really a clear sense, and there was also the clear sense that until your images and those of Weiner began to come out, there was nothing but silence. So it was very, very impressive. I honestly do think that you and this 14-year-old taught media how journalism is done. So thank you very much, and bravo to you, really.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, bye-bye.